Hi, it's Angi with News OK. I am here with Brandy McDonnell, who is an entertainment writer for the Oklahoman. Now, you're writing a story about Joaquin Phoenix being in the movie Reservation Road, and your story's coming out in Friday's paper.
Right.
This is something that actually you went to the film junket in New York last fall.
Right.
But it's now coming out on DVD. Tell us about the movie.
Well, the movie is it's the follow-up to Terry George, the director, Terry George, his follow-up to Hotel Rwanda, which he was nominated for an Oscar for. So it's pretty heavyweight. It's a drama and kind of a thriller, and basically it centers in on this family. It's kind of a perfect, seemingly perfect family in Connecticut named the Lerner family. Ethan, who's played by Joaquin Phoenix, is the dad, and he's a college professor. And then he's got his lovely wife Grace, who's played by Jennifer Connelly, and they have two beautiful children. And then one night after a cello concert that their son Josh performed in, they're heading home on Reservation Road. They stop at a gas station, and Josh wanders too close to the road, and he gets hit by a car and killed. And the driver hesitates for just a minute, and only his dad, Ethan, witnesses the accident, and the driver just hesitates for a moment and then drives off. Oh. And so the family is devastated, obviously, by this. And the film kind of follows the two families that are involved in this, the Lerner family, as they cope with the grief and loss of their son, but then also the person who drove the car, whose name was Dwight Arno. He's played by Mark Ruffalo from Zodiac, who's a great actor also. And he's a law associate in the same small town. He's kind of one of those perpetual scripts that sort of never has done anything right. And he was rushing home from a Red Sox game that he took his son. He has a son who's close to the same age as Josh, played by Eddie Alderson, who's a talented newcomer. He was taking his son to a ball game, and they were on their way home late, and he's got to get the kid back to his ex-wife, and she's going to be upset because she's late. And so he wasn't paying attention and went around this curb and hit this young boy. And wasn't really sure at first what he hit. Knew he hit something, but just kind of drove off, and then realizes the next day, obviously, that he hit a child. But he decides to hide the car and to not fess up to what he's done, because he's worried that he might lose his visitation with his son. So it follows him through his path of guilt, and then follows Ethan through the path that he goes on to of going from grief then to frustration, then to anger, and then to obsession as the police investigation stalls and they can't find who killed his son. So
Sounds
it's a
like
very heavyweight kind of movie.
Sounds like a very intense movie, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Now, Joaquin actually, to prepare for his role, he went and spoke to some hit-and-run families.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Right. The filmmakers arranged through Mothers Against Drunk Driving. The movie didn't involve any kind of alcohol or anything in the scenario, but they worked with MAD to allow the filmmakers to talk to families who had lost loved ones in hit-and-run accidents that were similar. And there was one person in particular, a man named David, that Joaquin talked to at length, and that he became kind of somebody that he was able to really draw from in sort of telling the story, because they want to tell it in kind of an authentic way to let people know the real pain that's gone through. And we have actually an audio clip of Joaquin talking about this man and what he learned from him.
Okay, let's listen to it.
But I did meet this one man, David, who was really influential on the character, because in meeting him, you can see that he's even-keeled, a man of reasoning, a man of words, and that there didn't seem that there was an aggressive or violent bone in his body. And Ethan was somebody that struck me that same way. That was really a reasonable person, and he seemed like he was the one when the kids got in an argument that would sit them down and have a conversation with both of them. But then to see this man see these flashes of anger suddenly and these flashes of pain, I think what was most interesting, and I know it's kind of horrible to describe saying somebody's emotional state was interesting, but it's what I have to do. I mean, it's what I do. It's like if you study human behavior. But the emotions that they felt, you would have known and expected. What was interesting was that they clashed simultaneously, and that you had anger coupled with utter pain, coupled with I have no feeling, like all simultaneously. And it was amazing to watch that dance across somebody's face, like so quickly.
And that was Joaquin Phoenix talking about how he prepared for his role in Reservation Road. Now let's talk about how he said that he actually compares a film character to a love story or a love song. Tell us about that.
Right, he kind of draws a comparison in his preparation for a film role and developing a character to kind of like a love song, and it was actually pretty humorous because he's a big Radiohead fan, and he actually mentioned the song Creep, which is a pretty dark and not very romantic love song to mention, but he talks about how both of those things are in the details. It's all about the details whenever you're doing a character. It's all about in the details when you do a love song, and it's about finding something new and finding something fresh. Otherwise, it just comes across as very generic and not very effective. So he kind of drew a comparison to particularly to the song Creep with the line, your skin makes me cry, about how that's not just kind of your generic line from a love song. So you don't want things to be very general. You want them to be very, very specific and very new and very detailed. And so that's kind of the meticulous nature of the way he prepared for the role. And he said every time is a little different. He's been doing movies for a long time, and preparing for every role is a little different. So,
wow, I love it.
Yeah,
how interesting.
Interesting.
I know it. For more on Brandy's story, check out Friday's paper. It's in the Weekend Look section. That's April 18th, and on newsok.com. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Let's see it.